Hey guys, it's John with ReelBlue Custom Rods, and today I am going to show you guys how to build a reel seat ramp. A lot of people, may not know how to do this, and a lot of people don't know that this technique probably even exists. Or people may think that in the fishing rod industry that building a reel seat ramp is common knowledge amongst the community, and that's just really not the case, especially if you're just first starting out and building fishing rods. So what I want to do is I want to show you, I've already affixed the Fuji reel seat, spinning reel seat to this wooden dowel, and I'm basically going to build off of this dragon scale wrap that I did a while back in a previous video. And you can see that video here up in the corner if you want to take a look and see how to do that wrap. But what I'm going to do is show you how to do this. And it quite honestly, it's really easy. All you need is some two-part paste, whether it's pro paste or rod bond, whatever you like to use. Something straight with a straight edge on it. And I like to use this tongue depressor. You can get these at any hardware store in the paint area for mixing paint and stuff. And I'm going to use that. And then after we apply our two-part bonding material, once that goes ahead and cures up, then I'll get into the next step in doing that. So the idea here is to have a smooth transition to build a reel seat ramp from the top of the reel seat down onto the blank, so you can have that nice smooth transition. All right, so the first thing I want to do, of course, you want to have your reel seat on the blank. The next thing you're going to do is go ahead and get some of your finish put together. Looks like that's too much. That's about right, 2 equal parts. All right, so we're going to go ahead, mix that up. And so just follow whatever instructions you have on the manufacturer's label, whether it's rod bond or pro paste or Flexco, whatever you're using. Just follow whatever the recommendation is. All right, and then what I'm going to do, I think I'm going to try to go for a smooth transition from the top of the reel seat down to this transition point here where this metallic silver begins. Now, the first point, I want to make sure that I don't forget to tell you. So when I'm applying this paste, you do not want that paste to be, level all the way to the top of this reel seat, or the bottom, or basically the outside edge of it. You want to finish just inside a little bit, if you will, to give yourself room for not only your thread wrap, but your two-part finish. Once you put your final coat on, you want that to be nice and smooth. You don't want it to be overhanging or dripping over your ends. So what I'm going to do is go ahead and take the pro paste, and then I'm just going to start adding it here, just like that. Okay, and then what I can do is I can come in here and just, hold this dowel or this wooden tongue depressor in place where I want it to be at. Rotate the rod and then slide that off. Get rid of that excess paste. And before I go ahead and put this back on there, I'm going to wipe that off as well. Or I could just use a new one, whatever you prefer to do. going to do it one more time. Just making sure. Yep. And we're pretty good there. And then I think what I want to do, I'm just going to come in here with my popsicle stick a little bit. Just take a little bit out of here off this edge. And I think that'll be good enough for me. And then one more time with the popsicle stick. Okay. And then that's it for that part. What I do want to do is I want to come in with some isopropyl alcohol and just clean off my edge on the reel seat. So isopropyl alcohol. Just like that. I'm just taking any of that epoxy that might have got on the edge of that reel seat. I'm just taking it right off right there. And so I have a little bit of unevenness right here. I have kind of a ledge, and I'm good with that. I like how it's flat. I like how I have a little flat edge right here. And then even if I have just a little drop in like I do right there, that's okay, because that'll fill in with thread and with finish once I put it on there. But I got a nice little ledge where I can go ahead and put my wraps on there, and the finish will go on there pretty well. And I got a nice smooth transition or a ramp like that. So what I want to do is I want to let that dry and cure up. And once that's done and dried and cure up, then I'm going to come back for the second step. Of note, if you have a little bit of lumps in there or you got some uneven spots, if you let this set up for a little bit, to where it gets a little bit more tacky, or like you can apply pressure with like a wet finger, you can actually, still, mold it or move it around a little bit. But yeah, so we're going to go ahead and let this dry, and then we're going to come back for the second part. Okay, guys, so welcome back. As you can see, we've had that two-part paste ramp that we built up for this reel seat ramp is now dry. And so now what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and apply my thread to that. And I'm going to show you how I like to do that. The first thing you can see back here, I'm going to be using a blue size D thread. And I'm using a nylon thread. You can use MCP thread and you can use metallic thread if you like. Totally up to you. But why do I want to use regular nylon thread? One, regular nylon thread is more forgiving. In the fact that I can do a double over wrap, or I can, be making a wrap and find a gap and come back and come over it and come down. And once I apply my finish on there, it's just a solid color. Where if I'm using NCP or metallic thread, you can actually see each strand or each wrap of the thread. Especially if you're using size D type thread, you can see each pieces of those thread, and it may not look uniform if you actually have a mistake or if you have to come back over and take care of something. So again, you can use whatever you like. I like to use a size D thread, and I like to use just regular nylon thread. So I'm using this blue thread. We're going to go ahead and get started. I think the first thing I want to do is I just want to put down a little cheat tape, if you will, and Just going to give myself an edge. I think I'm going to start right about here. Maybe I'll come down about here, I guess. And that's just going to give me an edge to work against. The next thing that I like to do, I guess a little pro tip, if you will, when wrapping a ramp, I like to start, whether it's something like a reel seat ramp, or if you're making a ramp on a gaff, I like to start at the bottom and work my way up. It's much easier for your threads to lie on top of each other as they go up versus trying to keep them next to each other if you're wrapping down. I'll just come in, get this started. Get it nice and tight. Cut that running end off a little bit. Tag in, if you will. And then I'm just going to spin the rod. Okay, so notice what I'm doing here is I have an angle. So I have my slider bar way to the left of this reel seat, and I'm putting an angle on my thread right here. So it's actually dropping down to the left, to the bottom left of the screen. So as I turn that rod, the pressure of the thread is towards the top, but the thread will slide down in place, as you see it doing right there. And I can just help it with my finger if I need to. And this should help me keep the thread going in the right direction. Just using my finger to guide it a little bit if I need to. Just trying to get to that lip. And I'm just about there. So I'm okay with my thread jumping over, as you saw, towards the back end. Just trying to make sure I got it lined back up. Now I'm just using my nylon thread to fill in a few cracks that I have between the thread, or gaps, if you will. Now what I want to do is I'm going to prepare to tie it off.
All right. I can cut my thread. And I don't want to create a bunch of pressure, just a little bit when I cut this. And I can come in here and use my burnishing tool and burnish that down. And then that's the ramp. So now I've applied my thread to that ramp. And then what I want to do is go ahead and peel the tape off. Now I have a nice clean edge. If I wanted to put another tag wrap, like some of that silver thread or something there, like I had before, I could come in and do a tag wrap really quick on the end. And then, but now what I want to do is I want to apply my finish. And again, I left that edge between right here. You know, you can see that the thread and the top of this reel seat, that is for me to apply my finish. So what I want to do is fill that space up with the finish. So let's go ahead and do that. Okay, so all we're going to do now, start to apply our epoxy finish. And, you know, this could take, you know, a couple coats just like normal finish work would. You just want to be careful and a little precise with your brush. This is a good time where maybe a disposable brush, or, you know, if you got a red sable hairbrush or something like that, you know, a fine point one where you can get in and work against the edge of the reel seat. And it's gonna, you know, take some moving the excuse me, moving the finish around, and then it'll take a couple coats to finish it off, and then you just tie it in. Ideally, you know, I'm doing this a little differently because, you know, I already taught you how to do this you know, this tinsel dragon scale wrap. So now I'm just kind of trying to tie it in with that. So I'm adding some epoxy here, but ideally you've done all the thread work, and when you're applying the finish, you know, it's one solid finish from the ramp all the way down to whatever decorative wrap you're working with. Again, I'm just tying in. Remember, your finish is self-leveling when you got it spinning on your dryer. So you just spin it around like that, and then, you know, you let that coat dry, and then what I will do is I will come back and add a second coat where it will fill in better here, and then all the way down the wrap. So the next thing I want to do you want to go ahead and get some heat, a little bit of flame from your torch, alcohol torch. Just remove some of those bubbles, smooth things out if you got anything in there. Don't have to go a long time because I don't want all that finish to just run down towards the bottom, you know. And again, that's it. So, you know, the final step that I would have to do, honestly, is really come back and add a second coat of finish. Again, so I'm making sure that I fill in right up next to this edge on the reel seat ramp. And I'm not going to bore you with that. You guys know how to do that, but just understand it's going to take you know, at least 2 coats to get it all the way up to the edge. So that way you have that nice smooth transition from the reel seat to your reel seat ramp down to your decorative wrap. So I hope this video helps. I hope you guys are able to learn something here. I'm not sure if you guys, again, were all aware about the reel seat ramp. If not, now you are. And yeah, so let me know what you think in the comments below. If you got something out of video, please hit the like button and feel free to share it. And make sure you guys watch this next video here. Until next time, guys, take care. Bye.